And we are back for the second time. I'm an idiot. I recorded with the wrong settings, so I have to record the whole video again, or at least part of it. Yeah. Okay, so I'll try to repeat it at the same time as I said it last time. Yeah, sorry that it took me so long to record this video. I'm a little bit busy. Last year of university, and I have to prepare for my thesis and so on. So I'm a little bit busy right now. But yeah, I finally managed to record the video. I'm a little bit over a month over my 2-year mark, so just so you know, a little bit more than originally planned. I don't think this will be the last video. I'll probably make one at around the 2.5-year mark and at around the 3-year mark. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'll see how it goes. Yeah, otherwise for today we'll do it the same as the last few times, so I'll just go over the sets quickly so you can see what changed, where I'm currently at. Then we'll go over listening, over reading, speaking, and whatever else comes to mind. So let's see. I'll skip whatever I think isn't that important or so just so that you don't wonder why I'm jumping around so much. Okay, this one, yeah, as you can see, a lot of scrolling, yeah, but that's not important. Okay, a little bit changed. I already changed my goals over here to the new ones. I reached all the last ones I set myself. So the last ones was for the 2-year mark, 10,000 sentences, and this one I already reached easily. For reading, I think it was 750 hours, and for listening 2,700 hours. And I already changed them. My new sentence goal is 15,000 hours for 15,000 sentences for the 2.5-year mark, and 1,050 hours of reading, and 3,300 for listening. Yeah, so like I said, I reached all my goals and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty certain I'll reach the 15,000 sentences 2.5-year mark, as you see, end of October this year, so I still have a little bit of time left, 136 days, so yeah, still a lot to do. Okay, then over my current stats. Just to remind you, for those who don't know, this right here are my accumulated stats over the days I recorded. So I recorded for 684 days. And this right here, but this is not a real number that I've spent, a real amount of time I've spent. This over here is a little bit closer, but it does involve some calculations based on the first few months, which I didn't record. But this one is probably a little bit closer to what I really did, especially when it comes to Anki. But we'll go over both for a second. In total, as you can see, I definitely recorded 4,728 hours. And for immersion, just 3,724, of those listening around 2,800, and reading 932, Anki around 1,000. So on average for immersion I'm at 5 hours and 26, but it has gone down in the last few months, but you'll see later on when I'll go over the changes a little bit. Yeah, my Anki, the average is 1 hour and 28, but as you'll also see later on, I'm a lot lower now, a lot lower. Then my real stats, or closer to my real stats, we have 2,891 hours of listening, 932 of reading, so that's the same. Immersion total 3,824 and 1,139 for Anki. So in total, a little bit less than 5,000 hours, 4,964, which is quite a lot. I'm really curious. But honestly, in total, the only thing that really matters right now is the amount of immersion. So I think I want to at least continue with this sheet until I reach 5,000 hours of immersion in total, which would still take a little bit, at least till the 3-year mark or so, I guess. Yeah, that's the important part here, nothing new. And then, yeah, this one probably, for those who don't use the same sheet, this isn't as important because it's something I created out of boredom. I'm level 124. nothing spectacular, whatever. Yeah, for, as you can see, those again, the changed goals, the hours for listening, reading, and sentence cards, and where I am currently. And here, over there, as you can see, I'll probably reach all of them inside the time frame, so even before October. And yeah, this one isn't correct. You'll see the amount of sentences I currently have later on, because I haven't added a few of them, so this isn't exact. I'm a little bit higher right now. Yeah, I think that's all in here. Don't want to talk too much. My videos are always far too long. Yeah, snapshot. Nothing really changed. This beside here being a lot of red in there, which is not as good. Yeah, and I'll probably have to add a little bit over here. As you can see, I'm already here, and once I have reached the 720 days, which is another 40 days or so, I'll have to expand this a little bit. I never thought I would write down my stats for this long, so yeah, I didn't anticipate it, but oh well. Okay, sources. Yeah, I haven't updated this in a while since I changed to this one, my new sheet that I posted last time with the video, so I still updated. I also updated the last show I started watching yesterday. So if you're interested in this, check out the video, and there is a link where you can find all of this. And I also added a lot in here, a lot of useful stuff, VPNs and whatever, so you can just look through it if you're interested. Yeah, then a lot of graphs we can skip over here, but this one, immersion time listening, as you can see over here, a little bit more white, so it went down, but it will be a little bit easier later on when I show you. This one isn't important, this one isn't important, this one isn't important. That's the same as a while ago, so nothing changed. Still, all my quotes are completely in Japanese, no problem. That's old, that's not useful, that's better a lot. Yes, this one. Okay, so as you can see, overall the orange line is the amount of total I spend on average a day, or not on average, accumulated over 30 days. So every 30 days there's a break here, and you can see the amount of time I spent in 30 days accumulated over Anki reading and listening. So my peak was at 254 hours in 30 days, and last time, this one isn't finished yet, so we have to take this line here, and the last one was only 172, so a lot lower. But this has in part to do with Anki, as you will see in a second. What I'm really happy about is this one, the part here below, because blue is my Anki time and red is the reading time. As you can see here in the middle, reading started to overtake Anki, and right now I read a lot more than I do Anki. In the beginning, as you can see, I had 80 hours of Anki, 80 hours over 30 days, that's over 2 hours, and only 23 hours of listening, so under an hour a day, something around 40 minutes, 45 or so. And right now it changed completely. Last time I was at 15 hours of Anki, so about 30 minutes a day, and 44 hours of reading, and right now I'm even higher. I'm already at 50 hours of reading. So maybe what was the highest? My highest till today was 65 hours of reading. So maybe I still have 6 days left for this span here, so maybe I can manage to overtake my last best. I will try, maybe 58 hours. I'll do my best. Maybe I can get a little bit more reading in. So I want to try to get 58 hours. But let's see. 6 days should be enough. No, 6 days should easily be enough. Yeah, I will do it. I will get to 60 hours. 10 hours of reading. Let's say 5 days. If we don't include today, 2 hours a day. That's manageable. Okay. Then the yellow line. Yeah, listening time. As you can see in the beginning, 102, and the last time here, 112, but it's still lower than here. 150 hours was my highest. this time 112 for the last one, and I will probably manage about more than 100 hours, but I'm not too sure I'll get higher than 118 or even 112. So like I said, my time overall went down a little bit. Same as you can see here, immersion time overall went down, but the biggest drop over here, and what makes the biggest difference, I think, is Anki, because like I said, I went down from sometimes over 2 hours in the beginning to now below half an hour most of the days. Sometimes it takes me 17 minutes to do my reps, or nothing at all really, but I still try to get in at least between 4 and 5 hours of immersion total a day. Some days it may be a little bit less, but most of the time it's really, I mean, I can show you. If we go back to stats, get down to where we are currently, and that's today. So yes, no, here we are. So as you can see, yesterday 5 hours 27, 5 hours 3, 4 23. So overall I'm almost always high enough. This one, 9 hours of immersion. That was a really great day. That was when I think that was shortly after I uploaded the video with Muramasa, and the day afterwards or so I played for 6 or 7 hours straight. 6 hours. Yeah, that's 6 hours too. That was really great. I don't know how far I am. Oh, here as well, 8 hours. Yeah, some days I can spend a lot. Yeah, so it varies a lot, but as you can see, most of the time I'm about over 5 hours, and here you sometimes have 3 hours, here again 8 hours. So, but I still get a lot of in, and that's the most important factor, so I don't really care. Okay, then next one. Sentences, adult total per span, same thing, just for sentences. Whatever, I added a little bit more than last time. As you can see, last 30 days 257, and like I said, I still have a few days left, but I'm already at 282. Not as much as in the beginning, as you can see, with 767. This was my highest, but since I already reached the 10,000 sentences, I don't need as much, so that's fine. Anki immersion per span. Yes, that one's also really cool. In the beginning, as you can see, about 60% of my time was spent on immersion and 40% on Anki, so quite a lot of Anki. But over time, my immersion in percent went up, and right now I'm at 92, almost 93% immersion, so 7% Anki. I don't expect it to go down much further, because I don't think with my current regime, when it comes to Anki, I add about 12 new cards a day, 12 to 15, depending on how I feel, and I don't think that I'll get my time per day for Anki a lot lower than 30 minutes, between 20 and 30. So I think this will stay around this percentage, but yeah, I think that's fine. 93% for immersion and the rest for Anki. A half an hour a day isn't that much, and most of the time, like I said, it's on the toilet or so. So that's not really important time. Sometimes I do it in bed. What really helps is the app for the phone, because I can just do it in my bed when I wake up, and for whatever reason I'm a lot faster when I do them on my phone, maybe because there's no distraction or so, I don't know. Yes, so okay, then we'll go to Anki in general. So this is just taken from my Anki. As you can see, this is from today, 15th. Yeah, I'm a total 13,456 sentences. Nice seeing such a big number. Hey, it has taken a lot of work, so I'm really happy about it. Yeah, I will still, like I said, continue 15,000 sentences, maybe even longer. I still have a ton of stuff I want to add, but I slowed down a little bit from 25 a day on average or so to now, like I said, 12 to 15 a day, but that's fine. Other things, nothing special. Yeah, for how much cards I get right, I'm back now to 90%. For a while I was at 89.2 or so it went down a little bit, but now it went back up. I have no idea why. I have some words that have failed quite a lot that suddenly started sticking. I have no idea why, but that's just how it goes. So some of those words suddenly I have no problem anymore. But yeah, that's not a big deal. So 90% is still fine, especially if you keep in mind that I increased the ease factor of Anki, so my intervals grow a lot faster. So I'm completely fine with this amount, and I still just reset all the leeches I have, and I don't really care. Reset them and keep going. Okay, I think that's already enough for Anki. Nothing special there. I just continue adding in the manner that I showed in the other video, so nothing new. Okay, and this thing is just a little bit extra because I was curious. In the day of sentence mining video, I showed you how I do my my review, or how I add new cards from Morphman, and I showed you I had about, I think, 18,000 sentences in my sentence bank, and I think I said that I don't, if I go through, let's say, 100 cards in this deck, so basically the deck has 100 cards before I add new cards, and afterwards there are 0 cards in there. Not all of those 100 cards I went through that day end up being cards that I have to add. Some of them I already know, and Morphman had an error, or some of them are skipped because they share the same focus morph. For example, it's a name or something like that, and multiple cards have this name in them. So in the end, you'll get less cards than you actually go through. But I said in the video that I think about 10 to 15% of the cards I do go through each day end up being cards I can add. So basically end up being cards that have an unknown word. And afterwards I thought, wow, that's still a lot. 15% of 18,000 cards, I'll end up with a few thousand cards again from this, despite already having about 13,000 cards in my deck. And because of this, I thought, okay, I want to see how much it really is. So this is basically what I did here. On the left side, you have the total number of cards that on that day were removed from the deck. So let's say, for example, here in the beginning we had about 10,000 cards, and afterwards only 6,500. So the deck reduced by this amount of cards. But in the end, I only, from those cards right here, only 44 were cards I added to my main deck. So in the end, 1.22%. So a little bit over 1%, and on average over the few times that I recorded it, 2%. So if this continues, I'll do it a few more days to see, or a few more times when I add cards, to see on average how much I get out of it, but it seems like it's going to be around 2%, maybe a little bit higher or so. So that's a lot better. So in the end, I'll probably get about 350 sentences out of those 18,000 cards, which is a lot less than I originally thought, but I'm happy with that, because I don't know, felt a little bit strange to think that I have so many cards in Anki and still have to add so many. If I had to guess right now, I'd say I'm probably at about 60,000, 70,000 unknown words, because as should probably be clear that you know a lot more words than there are in Anki. For example, I never made a card for words like Toshi or something like that, so for really simple words. Yeah, so they aren't counted towards my cards in total, and overall you still learn words here and there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yes, okay, so with that we are finished with the stats and we can go on to listening. Oh! Okay, so now we can go to listening. I made some notes. I'm a little bit prepared this time, and I'll just go over it quickly and tell you how it stands right now. Okay, overall, really good. I understand most of my input easily when it comes to listening, but as always, that's, I think, the most important factor. It depends on the source, so what you are currently listening to. So I'll just give you some examples of what I think is hard and what I think is easier and so on. Generally, anime in general is not that hard. It depends on the series you're watching, but I can pick almost any series at random and understand most of it, with some unknown words or so here and there, but most of them are easily understandable for me right now. One of the milestones I used for this was Gate. I watched it, I think the first time I watched it was after 8 months, 6 months, 6 to 8 months, something along those lines, I think 6 months. And I watched it again twice since then. First time I understood almost nothing. For those who don't know, it's some isekai-like anime, and yeah, there's a lot of military vocabulary and so on, so it's not that easy to understand. And then I watched it again, I think last year, I don't know, mid-end last year, and I understood a lot more than the first time, so there I could already notice the improvements. And the third time was this year, just 1 month ago or so. I rewatched it again and I understood almost everything. Like I said, as always, one sentence here, one sentence there, one word here. That's normal, but I'm really happy about it. I can understand something like Gate, which has, as I would say at least, is a little bit more complicated, especially when it comes to the vocabulary they use. So I'm really happy that I can understand something like this rather easily. So anime overall, easy. Example for something more in the middle, so where I understand a lot but not everything, is normal news. News I can follow. I can definitely follow news and understand what is going on, but I understand less than in anime because of the vocabulary. You don't hear it as often anywhere else. So this is a little bit more work. I have to concentrate, but I can follow it. So I can watch news in Japanese and get what's going on. Not as easy, like I said, but it's also not that big of a problem if I really concentrate. And most of the time, if you're watching news, you have a lot of pictures and there's a lot of text on the screen, so you can still follow it if you read a little bit. Yeah, another one, or the next one for hard, would be, I think I mentioned this somewhere else, I'm not too sure, News Joshi. That's basically, it's a talk show about news, and they have some experts in there and some women, and they talk about different topics that are currently happening. And this is on the hard side. I really have problems understanding it. If you want, you can try it out. I'll post a link in the description. They upload all the episodes to YouTube for free, and yeah, there are some topics I can follow really well, and then the next topic I have problems following. Really depends on what they're talking about. But overall, this is something I will take right now as my new yardstick, because it's now something for me that's difficult. And I try to watch. It's not as fun if you can't follow. You don't. If there is a topic you can't really follow, you don't have anything else you can enjoy. Let's say it like this. Because in anime, at least you have the pictures, so even if you don't understand anything, it's still entertaining. Yeah, but I still try to watch every day or every few days at least one episode. One episode is about an hour long, so yeah, it's okay. I can get through it, but I don't want to watch it all the time. So I can watch one episode and then have to do something else. Otherwise, I would get bored. Yeah, the next one would be something like YouTube. But YouTube in general, I think, is even harder to summarize than something like anime or news, because it really depends on the YouTuber you're watching. But most of them are really easy, and then you can find someone who talks extremely fast or has a strange dialect or so, and it makes it harder to understand. But that's not that big of a problem. So, like I said, most of them are easy to follow. I don't watch as many Let's Play YouTubers or so anymore, because most of the time they don't talk as much. They just play the game and say a few words here and there, and that's not really a lot of listening that you get there. So I do watch them sometimes, especially if it's more passive type, if I'm doing something else, because I'm not listening that much anyway. So for that, they are definitely good. Otherwise, I try to pick some that talk a little bit more. Yeah, so but overall, my listening comprehension is really, really good. I can follow a lot, and what I definitely notice as an improvement to last time, beside the fact that I understand more than before, sure, that a lot of the stuff I do understand, I understand a lot faster than before. So before, I think I said last time that I have some problems that I hear a word that I know, and it takes me too long, or it takes my brain too long to recognize it and spit out the meaning. So, and this, well, I don't know, half a second is already enough that you miss the rest of the sentence because it's in full speed. And this has gotten less. At least it feels like it's gotten less. And I can pick out a lot more words that I don't hear, or that I wouldn't have been able to pick out before. So because the rest is getting easier and easier, and I do notice it that almost every day there are a few new words that are added. I don't know, a few days prior, and I suddenly notice them for the first time. So this is getting faster as well. So every time I notice there's something I didn't hear before, there's something I didn't hear before. So it's getting definitely a lot better. So listening, I'm completely happy with. Anything else? Let's see at my notes. Did I write something down? No, I mentioned gate. Easy example, I gave a medium example, a hard example, and YouTube. Yeah, depends on the YouTuber. Yeah, I think that's it for listening. There isn't too much to talk about. I think I have a little bit more or more interesting stuff for reading, and then later on for speaking. Okay, then that's it for listening. Okay, reading. Yes, as always, reading is my best skill. I guess that's for most people the case, because reading is just a lot easier to get into. Yes, reading is super easy. I can understand pretty much anything I'm reading. I mean, as you saw last time, I tried Muramasa, and since I made a video, I went through a lot. I don't know how much of the game I have done, but yeah, and it varies. So there are parts that are really hard to understand, but it's most of the time because the vocabulary they use is rather rare. So I don't see it as often, and then there are parts I can follow easily. So, but it's fine. I can read it. Overall, what I also did is I started reading Lord of the Rings in Japanese, the first book, and this one I'm really happy about because it was on my mind since I started, and I can understand most of it. It's really not as hard as I thought. The most complicated part really is in the beginning when they talk about all the factions, and you have to keep in mind what they are currently talking about, where they are on the map, and so on. So that's more complicated than the language itself. If anything, at least it feels to me that way the most. The thing that's holding me back the most during reading Lord of the Rings is really vocabulary. There are so many words in there that you never see anywhere else, but otherwise the sentence structure itself, the parsing, the grammar doesn't feel that complicated. So yeah, I'll slowly work my way through it. I think I've mentioned it somewhere before. I'm normally not the type to read fiction or anything like that. I'm more interested in reading stuff about my field of study. But yeah, I try to get a little bit more into reading fiction to get a little bit more exposure to different vocabulary. So Lord of the Rings is the first start, and yeah, it's going well. Looking forward to seeing the rest, but it's going to take a while for all the books. Ooh, I don't know, at least till the end of the year, I guess, maybe longer. At least with my speed, I read per day maybe 4 to 10 pages or so not that much, because after that I just want to read something else, want to read some manga or so. Okay, then yeah, manga. That's, for me right now, that's manga is really, really awesome, because I'm at a level, it feels almost like in English, because for a really long time I read a lot of manga in English, and I had some days where I could wake up in the morning, pick a new manga, and read all day and never stop, because I was so absorbed in the story. And since I understood everything in English, I had no problem just continuing. And it's getting close to that point in Japanese. As always, it depends on the manga you pick, but the one I'm currently reading, for example, I understand pretty much everything, and the amount of I understand everything. Not pretty much, I understand everything. And the amount of words I don't know is really, really low. It's maybe one word every chapter, not even that. Most of the time, every 2 chapters, one new word or so. So it's not that much work. I can just read without pause, and that's really cool. That's really, really fun. So I can read a few hours and don't really mind. So manga definitely on the really, really easy side. News as well, and most reading is really, really easy. Sure, you always get the one strange sentence here and there that you don't understand, but I guess that's normal, and that will take a while and go away eventually. Yeah, anything specific? What did I write down? Oh yeah, I want to mention specifically 2 series I've read, 2 mangas, because I had one of the parts I had a lot of problems with, at least when it comes to reading manga and so on, was slang. Slang, and when they shorten what they are saying, wakaranai to wakannai. I mean, that's an easy example, but just so you know what I mean. And I think I found 2 series that really helped me in that regard, and I'll also give you, I also wrote down a few examples of slang that I learned in there. For one, I definitely haven't seen it anywhere else. For the other one, I'm not too sure. So, okay, the 2 series I'm talking about are Sono Kisekai Ningyo wa Koi o Suru, and the second one is Gyaru Gohan. I'll probably post a picture on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. They are both romance stories, so the vocabulary isn't too difficult, but the thing, or why they are good if you want to get a little bit used to more casual speech, or extreme casual speech rather, not more, it's extreme casual speech, is because in both of those series the female protagonists or the female characters are gyarus, so they use a lot of strange vocabulary, and their girlfriends are talking in the same manner. So you get a lot of strange words. If I had to decide between which one is more everyday speech, it would definitely be Gyaru Gohan, because it's more about cooking and so on, so the vocabulary isn't as strange. And the other one isn't as strange as well, but in the other one, cosplay plays a big role, and some of the time they explain a lot about the makeup, about how the clothes are made, some parts of the clothes, and so on. So the words are, at least in those moments, the words aren't as useful to everyday life, except if you like cosplay or so. So I can definitely recommend those. Gyaru Gohan is now finished, so you can read the complete series, and the other one is still ongoing, and I really like them both. Although I have to say, Sono Kisekai Ningyo Koi o Suru, I like this one a little bit more. I don't know why. It's a little bit more interesting. Gyaru Gohan is sometimes a little bit over the top, but oh well. Yeah, and 2 examples I can give you for words. I had to use, for one of them, I even had to use Google Pictures to understand what it means, but if you see the pictures, I'll post it on the screen, you can understand it easily, or even if I have one, I will give you a definition. I can't remember, I just know what it refers to. The first word is dabotto, and the second one is jiwaru, and both of those words were in Sono Kisekai. And yeah, not that I think dabotto I haven't seen anywhere else. I don't know how useful it is, but I like the word. And jiwaru, I think I've seen it a few times, but I'm not too sure. I can't tell you 100%. And there are a ton of words like this, so more really casual speech that you won't see anywhere else. And overall, like I said, I really noticed in the beginning when I started reading them, following was really hard because, like I said, it's extremely casual from time to time. But now during the end, I can understand pretty much anything, or I can understand anything, and it's really easy to follow. And you do get used to all the casual speech and what they use, and the speech patterns they use, and so on. So those two really helped me. So maybe if you're interested, you can look them up, and hopefully they help you too. Okay, let's see. Notes. What else do I have? Nothing really. Yeah, that's it. So, reading, I understand pretty much anything I want, with some exceptions here and there. Sure, if it's a really hard material, a few sentences here and there. The amount of words I don't know, depending on the material I read, are really, really low. With manga and news having almost no new words, except some here and there, and books. Yeah, since I don't read as many books, I can't give you that. I can give you a lot of info on that, but I guess, like I said, in Lord of the Rings, there are a lot of words I don't normally use, or I don't normally see. So this is a different story, but overall, yeah, the amount of words I have to look up is really low right now. So I'm happy about that. I can just read and enjoy it most of the time. And now that I've started shadowing, I even stopped while reading news for the pitch focus reading. I stopped adding the words, so I just read through them, and afterwards, I don't care. So I don't add as many words anymore, at least not all of them. I can find what I did. Most of the time I added all words I found. So yeah, it's getting less and less, and that's cool. But I will still continue learning new words. Okay, I think that's it for reading. So we can get to speaking. As always, speaking is probably a little bit shorter, but you will see. Okay, speaking, the last topic. I also made some notes. Just let me look over them quickly. Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, pretty easy. I don't speak still. I uploaded my speaking video a while back, and I want to make the next one probably beginning of next year. So basically, with about 1 year between my last time and my next time, so that you can see at least some difference. I don't want to do it every few weeks or so. So just that there's a little bit of time so I can improve, and then we'll see again what changed. Because also I'm really curious what happens now that I started shadowing and so on, how my pronunciation so will be changing. So yeah, next year, beginning of next year probably, and I already thought about something I will probably try to do, because I don't want to talk about myself again. I'll probably do something like a book review style, at least that was my idea. So basically that I pick a book that I read in the last while or so, or a book that interested me or that I liked, and give some kind of book review, what it contains without spoiling too much. Except if it's something like a book about, I don't know, about my field or so, what I read. I read a few interesting books. So, for example, I read one about why people sleep, or why animals have to sleep in general, why there's no animal that evolved to not have to sleep. And I really liked that book. It was really interesting and a lot of interesting facts. So maybe it's something, if it's a book like that, maybe I'll do something like educational video. I don't know. So basically summary of what the book is talking about and so on. But I will see something along those lines probably. I still have to think about it, but I still have some time left. Yeah, otherwise it's basically the same as last time. It's getting less and less sure, or rather there are more and more things I can express if I want to, and there are more and more things that come naturally if I think about them, what I do, but I don't do it that often. It's just sometimes that for whatever reason I have the idea, oh, can I form this sentence? And I think about it and yeah, I can, or no, I can't. But it still feels like I explained it last time. It still feels like a wall where there are a lot of pricks missing. So there's things I can't say, then the next thing I can't say, then I can't say, and so on. So that's still a problem, but yeah, I don't mind. I have time. It's getting better, and that's all I care about. Yeah. Okay, what I wanted to talk about shortly is about shadowing, that I started it now. and then give you some examples that I feel that my intuition got better. So first, shadowing. I started only a few days ago, and the reading, so the pitch focused reading I'm doing, like I showed you in the last video, in Anki, basically copy paste and so on, it's really going well. It's not that hard, at least it doesn't feel that hard. I want to start recording them, record my voice after a while, but for now I just will read a little bit to get used to it, because I'm not reading out loud that often. So I just want to see you for 1 week or 2 weeks without anything, and then I will probably start recording myself during those pitch focused reading sessions and see and listen back to it afterwards. But it really helps with the pronunciation of some of the words, or with the pitch accent, to focus on it. And I think if I do continue like this, or at least it feels for now, if you continue like this for a longer time, you will definitely have a benefit from it. And yeah, so that one really goes well. The normal shadowing, yeah, I don't know. The thing I thought about was, even in English, I think I would have problems listening to something and then without delay trying to repeat what I just heard. I don't know. Maybe it's going to get better without or with some practice in a few weeks or so. I don't know, but for now it's really, really hard to follow. Sometimes I have a run where I can shadow 2 sentences or so without a problem, and then I'm starting to stutter again because there's a word that, I don't know, for whatever reason I didn't hear correctly, or my focus went to my own voice, or to what I'm hearing through the headphones, or something else on the screen, or whatever where I'm looking to. I try to pick one spot on the wall and just look at it, and so that I can drift off and focus on what I'm hearing. But yeah, it feels like it's gotten a little better than in the beginning, at least a little bit. But yeah, I think this will take a while. Let's say this way, I'm not in the position that I can just go through it and only miss a few words. Right now the amount I miss is a lot higher than the amount I do get. But I guess that's normal in the beginning. I hope that's going to go away after a while. It's really, especially, you have to concentrate extremely hard, so doing both of them at the same time. I mean, it's the same with reading out loud. Reading out loud, especially in something like Japanese, where you also have to concentrate what you're looking at, is already pretty complicated, and you tend to slip up a little more often. So listening and then repeating is just as complicated. At least it feels just as complicated to me. But we'll see, and I'll just continue and see how much it will help me to improve or not. I don't know. So just wait and see for a few months and continue. Okay, intuition. Yes, I wanted to give you some examples. Don't laugh, they're really easy examples, but I don't have the chance to realize something like it, something like this that often. So, and those are just the examples that stood out to me. There are some smaller ones. Yeah, intuition. What I mean is that intuition, in a sense that you read something or you see something and you think to yourself, that's wrong, that doesn't fit in there. Or, for example, you read something and you already know how it's going to end, so how the sentence is going to go on. Or in a situation when you watch something and you more or less predict what the character is going to say or so, because you have heard it I don't know how many times said in a similar situation or so. And one of the examples I have is, for example, I read a comment from someone I don't know, somewhere else, I can't really remember, and I just remember that there was written "sugoi oishii," and I read it and thought, no, that's wrong. No, it has to be "sugoku oishii." And then I thought about it. Why do I know that it's wrong? Is it even wrong? Because if you're not that good in this language yet, you tend to doubt yourself if your intuition is really right, or maybe the other person who wrote that knows something that you don't know. So in this case, I even went and looked it up. Sugoku was correct, and because I was interested, I thought, wow, okay, why is this correct now? I don't know. And that's the point. I mean, it's a really basic grammar point. A lot of people probably would get right, but why this one stood out to me is because I didn't know why it was right, or why what was written was wrong, and why the idea I had was right. And that's the point. So basically, that I, even if it's only a simple grammar point, that I just feel it feels to me like it's wrong. At least what's written is wrong, without knowing why. And that's, for me at least, I think a good sign if you're at the point that you can see something and think to yourself, no, that's not correct, but I don't know why it's not correct. And I looked it up. I even looked up grammar explanation because I was curious, and I started reading the first sentence and stopped. It was something about adjectives and whatnot, but I talked about it quite a lot. I think I hate grammar explanations. I can't follow. It just, as soon as something starts, adjectives, adverbs, and whatnot, I drift off somewhere else. I just can't. It's not for me. I hate grammar explanations. Okay, second example. Yes, this is already, I think, 4 weeks ago. Was 4 weeks ago or so. I was watching Kenja no Mago. I think, yeah, it's interesting anime, and it's a typical where the main character is over the top strong, overkill type. But oh well, in one episode they were out training in the wild, and since he's already that strong, he had to hold back. And for whatever reason, I can't remember, he got a little bit annoyed that day. While the other ones were hunting monsters, he was staying back. But then they were attacked by a giant group of monsters, and he had to step in, so to speak, to kill them all at once. And he just stood there, did his cast, whatever. And while he was doing his cast, I was sitting there and just talked to myself, Skirishita. And as soon as he finished them and he stood there, Skirishita. And I thought, wow, cool, I predicted it, it was correct. Yeah, stupid stuff like that. And afterwards I had to look it up, Skiri. I don't even have an Anki card for it. So that's a word I picked up through anime, and it's most of the time something, I don't know, somebody had a hard day, they went in the bath or so, and afterwards, skirishita, in this case as well. So I really love, that's something like this is really, really motivating, because it's something I haven't learned before anywhere else, or at least not consciously that I looked it up or something like that, and just from context, from hearing it over and over again, and suddenly it sticks and you know how to use it even, and that's really, really cool. So just two small examples. I think the problem here is, especially when it comes to, let's say, a little bit more complicated examples, is that most of the time, like I said, that you doubt yourself, so you're not sure if you are correct or the other person is correct. So if it's something about mistakes where it's rather easy to notice, especially in English, when I read something and I think to myself, no, that's wrong, no, that should be worded differently or so. But in Japanese, I'm not at a point that I feel that secure, even though I understand a ton, I understand pretty much everything I read and listen to, but I'm still not at the stage where I can say I hear something and I'm 100% sure that's it, and there's no other possible meaning. It's only that. So this certainty is not there yet. I still have, if somebody told me, no, this means something different, I would be, oh, maybe he's right. Oh no, I don't know. So insecurity, basically. But for this to develop, it takes a while, and I know how it feels at least, so I don't really mind, because I know how it feels in English when I read something or so. I just know that's it. And if somebody told me no, that means something else, I could say, no, you're an idiot. It means that. So yeah, I don't really mind. It's going to take just a while, and I'm happy where I'm right now. Like I said, speaking, yeah, I don't know how my pronunciation is, probably not that good, but it's fine, at least for some. If I do the reading out loud part for the pitch focus reading, there are some parts where I notice that it feels a little bit, that when I hear myself, it sounds a little bit strange. So there are still parts where I know that I have to work on, but yeah, since I normally don't really speak and only just now started with shadowing and so on, I'm not that worried about it. It's going to take a while and then it will get better. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Anything I can recommend here? Anything I have to say? I went through all my notes. No, that should be it. Yeah. Okay, I think I'll even I will continue with doing those update videos. Hopefully not next time, not as late as this one. I'm really sorry. But I'll probably do another one at the 2.5 year mark or so, depending on the situation at that point in time, because I'll have finished my degree by then and will probably work or so. Yeah, and if everything goes according to plan, I hope, but I'm not too sure due to Corona and so on, then I'll hopefully be in Japan at the 3-year mark. If not, maybe a little bit later. I don't know. We'll see. But for now, yeah, I still have my degree to finish, and then in a few months I'll go home for a while until I have my job, and then work a little bit, and then we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you updated, and we'll see what happens. And if I get the chance to go to Japan, I'll try to make some videos, something interesting, but I don't know yet. I haven't even thought about that. But we'll see. Okay, yeah, that's it for today. So probably till the 2.5 year mark, at least for this video format. I'll see what I will do in the meantime whenever I have an idea. So if there's anything you would like to see, then just leave a message and I'll see if I can get to it. Okay,